Hello and welcome to 123stitch.com. Do you have a lot of cross-stitch projects that you finished but didn't get around to framing or finishing yet? Me too. I think we all do. We like to start a project. We like to finish a project. We like to plan and start the next project. We don't necessarily take the time to frame or finish the one that we just did. So all of us tend to have things stacked up that have to get done. You can take it to a framer. That's expensive. If you haven't looked into that before, it's pretty expensive. I would say that 98% of the time I frame pictures myself. It's not hard to do. Over the years, I've learned a lot of tricks to make it easy and inexpensive. Does not take long at all. I don't lace the designs, and that's where you sew the back of the fabric in a zigzag fashion. I don't do that. That's too complicated. Today, I'm going to show you a couple of really easy ways to do it. Before we get started though, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and also everything I mentioned today will be listed as a link in the description below. Today I want to show you a couple of different ways to frame your designs. One involves pinning on foam cord board, and one of them involves a PresOn board and double-sided tape. They're both pretty easy. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to show you some different options on what you might want to do or not want to do when framing. Make sure you stay to the end before you purchase any of your supplies, because whatever method you choose is going to determine what supplies you might need. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, the first thing you need is obviously your finished pieces. I have a couple here that I'm going to show you today. They are trimmed and ironed and ready to go. The next thing you need is a frame. If you've watched my Halloween finishes video before, I talked about how I kind of look for frames all the time when I'm out shopping, when I'm at flea markets or antique stores, thrift shops. I'm looking for frames that are inexpensive, that are different shapes, that are different styles, colors, anything that kind of catches my eye. I hang on to them, and then when I have a project that's done, I can kind of look through my stuff to see if I've got just the perfect frame. That way I have a frame that didn't cost a lot of money, and it's good for my project. I don't have to go out and find one that's just perfect. If it's a different size, I'm not finding anything, I will often order a frame through the mail. There's a lot of websites where you can specify just the size, color, and style that you want. They'll even let you upload your artwork so you can try it out. That's a good option. Not the least expensive though. Least expensive is to buy a frame that's already made. I have a couple here that I'm going to use today. This is just an open frame, and then this one came with a backing on it. But another place to look for frames is with pre-existing artwork. You'll often find these on clearance, and they'll have a picture in them that you just probably don't want, but you could take it apart and use the frame. The frames are interesting. That's the part that I'm looking for. So that's what we need first to get started. Then we need our foam core board or PresOn board. The self-stick PresOn board you can pretty much get anywhere. It comes in different sizes. I've already cut out of this one once. It has a sticky back. You can cut it down and use it on your project. And the other method is going to use a piece of acid-free foam core board that you can get at art stores, craft supply stores. I go for something that's about a 1/4 inch thick. You don't want it any bigger. You don't want it to take up too much room. And this we will cut down to size as well. So along with cutting down to size, we need something to cut on. I use a self-healing mat. You can use anything, just make sure whatever you're cutting on, you're not cutting through it to the surface underneath. I use a ruler for measuring, and then you can use a rotary cutter that you use just for cardboard, not for fabric. You can use that. You can use a straight edge knife like this one, a little craft knife, box cutter. You can use an X-Acto knife, anything. You can even use scissors, even though that's more difficult, especially on the foam core. I like to have a nice long ruler so that I have something to guide it and when I'm cutting. If you're using the, actually for either method, I kind of like to use this double-sided Scor-Tape. It's, you press it on and then you peel off the other side and it sticks on both sides. It's good for holding the fabric on the back side down. If you're pinning, you're going to want some little pins. I use sequin pins because these are very tiny. They're probably 1/2 inch long. You don't want anything too big. You're going to be sticking it in the side of that foam board, and you want it to hide in there but hold the fabric at the same time. If you want, as an option, you can use a batting under your design. And the reason I sometimes like to use batting is it gives a nicer surface, a nicer finish to your design. It kind of makes it poof out a little bit, makes it a little smoother. So that's an option. It's certainly not necessary. I think most of the ones I've framed before don't have the batting on it, so it's not necessary. I will say though, if you're going to use batting, make sure that the color doesn't affect the finished design. I kind of tried to match it on these, so white on this one and then off-white on the other one. If I put the off-white on this design, it would darken it. So I kind of like to match it. If you're going to use batting, on one method, on the pinning method, you're going to need some sort of basting adhesive or spray glue to hold that batting down. If you're going to, you can also use something like a hot glue gun or a glue stick. Just make sure it doesn't show through or affect the appearance of the batting. I like to use a spray glue. If you're doing the press-on board, we're actually going to put the batting right on that sticky side, so you don't need any adhesive for that. What else do we need? I like to finish the back side of my designs with either sheets of craft paper to cover it up, or you can buy this self-adhesive craft tape that will cover the seams. It'll just make the back side look a little nicer. I'll show you what that looks like later on. I choose to frame my designs without glass most of the time. I like to see the stitching stand out more. I don't like it behind glass. I do use glass if it's going to be in a place where it's more prone to dirt, in a room where, maybe in your craft room where you have lots of, you're sewing and there's lots of lint and stuff lying around. You might want to put glass on it and protect it that way. Otherwise, I just like to keep them in an open frame and then just dust it. I think that's all the supplies for now. We'll go ahead and get started. Okay, my first design that I'm going to frame is Christmas Quaker by Primrose Cottage Stitches. This was fun and easy to stitch, all one color, and the frame I've chosen is this one. And I think the color is perfect, the size is perfect. I really like this a lot. And the nice thing is that it came with a backing too. So what I'm going to do is use this backing to cut out my press-on board. I'm going to just lay it right on top here. And I'm going to take a pen and trace around it. Okay, and then I'm going to use my ruler and my box cutter, and I'm going to cut it out. I like to use a cutting board underneath so I don't damage the surface of my table. And keep in mind that you don't have to have a perfect cut here. It doesn't have to be gorgeous because it is going to be completely hidden inside the frame. You just want it to be the right size and to be fairly straight. Stuck right on that corner. Sometimes it takes a little bit more to cut through that sticky stuff. There we go. All right. Then we're going to take our batting and our press-on board. Actually, I want to first make sure this fits in here well. Try it out. Yes, it fits in, doesn't come out, but isn't too tight. That's perfect. Okay, so we're going to peel off the backing of this, and then we're going to put it directly onto our batting. Stick that down. Now, if you're choosing not to use batting, I would actually cut out 2 pieces of press-on board and stick them together. That way the sticky stuff is hidden and it makes a nice thicker surface. I don't like to put my cross stitch directly on the sticky surface of the press-on board. Some people do. That's a choice. I I don't like to do it. I feel like it could pull up the threads. It's harder to adjust. I'm just going to trim this batting now. You can use scissors or you can use a rotary cutter, whatever you have and is easier for you. There we go. Okay. Now, on my cross stitch piece, what I have done is I have marked the center portion on each side. So I've measured the distance from one side to the other, which was 5.5 inches. At 2 3/4 inches, I drew a little line, and I did it far enough outside of the design. It's not going to show through my picture at all. So that's important to make sure that that is out of the way. If you're at all leery about using a pen or pencil on your cross stitch, use an erasable marker. I'm going to draw a line all the way to the outside on all 4 sides here. This is going to help us center the design on the mat board. Okay. And then on the back side of our mat board, we are going to draw, we're going to measure it, and it's going to be 6 inches. So at 3 inches, I'm going to draw a line on each side. 3 inches. So again, we're just finding the center and we're drawing some lines. And then I'm going to connect the lines. There we go. Okay, now I'll show you why we did all that. Okay, so we have markings on the back of our PresOn board. We have markings on the front side of our stitched piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the batting side to the wrong side here, and we're going to kind of look at it closely. This design has very little margins on all 4 sides. So we're going to want to play with it till it looks a little even. When we turn it over, we can line up those lines to make sure it's centered. It'll be centered, but the problem is making sure that we have equal margins on all 4 sides. So we're going to use little pieces of tape here just to kind of hold it down while we play with it a little bit. This is the most time-consuming part, but it's really not that hard. The Scor-Tape is nice because it peels off nice and easily. All right, I'm going to see what that looks like, and then the true test is putting the frame on it. Stick it in the frame, and we see what it looks like. And we can see, first of all, that it's a little bulky now with the fabric. There we go, that's in there good. But I can see that this corner needs to come up a little and that corner needs to come down a little. So let's see if we can do that. Just gonna pull it a little bit tighter. Okay, that corner looks good now. This corner needs to come down a little. That looks good. I like it. I'm happy with the spacing all the way around. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tack this all down. So we're going to, it's in there good. It's not going to move out of place. So what I'm going to do is take these off. We're going to cover the back here, so don't worry too much about what it looks like. We're going to take our double-sided tape. We're going to lay down bigger pieces here, right about there. We're going to take the tape off of the one side, and then we're going to fold the fabric down on top of it. I'm going to do that on the 4 sides, not paying any attention to the corner right now. We're going to make this back side look as nice as we can. Can't get that corner up. There we go. Another piece here. That stuff is sticky. Okay, let's get another piece here. And get the last corner. There we go. Okay, now to do the corners, I just fold them down. I don't try to miter the corners. I just put them down like that, and you can just use a piece of tape. We're going to be covering the back, so it does not matter at all what it looks like. We just want it to lay flat. Now, if you have a backing for your frame, it's just going to go right on top of this. If you don't have a backing, what you can do, I'll show you in just a second what you can do. Right now, I'm going to put my frame on, my little Christmas tree facing up. Put my frame on. Spin that around. There we go. We are done. It is framed. It is all set. See how easy that is to do? Not bad at all. I like the look of the batting below it. It makes it look a little puffier. I think that turned out really well. Now, if you didn't have a backing for the design like this, what you can do is take some craft paper. It comes in rolls. You just cut a piece, you put it right on top here and glue it down. Or you can use that roll of tape that I had and cover it that way. You just want the back covered so it looks nice. And then if you need to put a hanger on, you can just put it right on top. There you go. That one's all framed and done. Okay, the next piece we're going to frame is this one. This is Stitching Parliament by Hands On Designs, and I love it. This just came out at the 2025 National Needlework Market, and I knew I had to have it, so I stitched it right away. And we're going to frame that in this frame, which I think will look quite nice. This is an open frame. It doesn't have a back with it, so we are going to need to cut the mat board and then figure out how to secure the back on it. So first thing we need to do is to measure what size our foam core board needs to be. And that measurement needs to be on this inside portion, not the outside opening, but the inside lip portion. And that is 8 inches by 8 inches. So we're going to get our foam core board, our ruler, and we're going to measure 8 inches this way and 8 inches here. And then we're going to draw some straight lines. Eight inches on this side. Line that up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to use my box cutting knife again. I'm going to hold my ruler down tight and make sure the blade is right up against the ruler. And cut through. It actually cuts through quite easily. And again, this is that 1/4 inch acid-free foam core board that you can get at craft stores or art supply. You buy them in big sheets and just cut down to whatever size you need. Oh, get that little corner punched out. There we go. If you can see, I kind of cut that on an angle. So I am going to straighten that out a little bit. There we go. Okay, next step is we see if it fits in the frame. And it's a little tight. It's a little tight, so, and on this edge. So again, I have that angle that I somehow managed to cut there. So I'm going to trim a little bit off of this edge. It's better to be a little small because we're going to be putting fabric in there and the batting. So we want to make sure that it all fits. Let's see how that fits in our frame now. There you go. That fits nice. It's not too loose, not too tight. It's just right. All right, so that's good to go. Now that we have our board cut, we want to put the batting on it. So I have a piece of batting here, and I have my basting adhesive. I'm going to spray it on the batting, and then I'm going to put my foam core board right on top of it. It's going to hold it in place. Perfect. Remember, you can use spray adhesive, you can use a glue pen, you can use hot glue, whatever works for you. And then I'm going to trim the edges with my cutter. There we go. All right. That's all set. And we're going to see what this looks like on here. Okay, it looks like by looking through it, you can see I have a little bit, it's almost equal. It's almost equal on all four sides how much room I have. So I want to first start with just kind of eyeballing where I think it'll be. And of course we want to have the batting side underneath our fabric. Just kind of eyeball where I think it should be. And then I'm going to grab my pins. These are those little bitty tiny pins. I'm going to put some in here. Okay, and I'm just going to sort of eyeball where I think I want it to be to start. And I'm going to put a pin in the top. And the pin goes right through the fabric into the foam core board. Pull as tight as you think you need to. Pins are so tiny, they're hard to hang on to. There we go. Okay. You can adjust this all you want as you go, but you can see how right away it looks decent. I'm going to do the two sides, and then we're going to put it in the frame and see what it looks like. And you can pull the fabric a little bit if you need to. All right, let's grab our frame here and see what it looks like. Well, top and bottom looks really good. I think I have a tiny bit more fabric on this side than this side. So we're going to need to pull this way a little bit. So get that pin out of there. I'm going to try just stretching the fabric a little bit and see if that's good enough. We need to loosen this one up a little bit. I think it needs to pull a tiny bit more. Go. Try this one. All right, let's take a look. That looks pretty good. It looks straight. We can straighten it as we go, but the spacing looks really good to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and start pinning all the way around. These pins are so tiny, they're a little hard to hang on to. And also, I have puppies, so I have to be really careful they don't fall on the floor. So we're just going to go all the way around, pinning this. Make sure you put the pin directly in so that it doesn't poke through the cross stitch on either side. But you can see the advantage of this is that I can pull it as I go, I can adjust as I go, and it's easy to do. I can double check as I go along that everything looks straight. Everything looks really straight. So this is coming together really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and finish pinning all around the 4 sides, and then I'm going to show you what we do with the corners, how we finish it off, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have finished pinning all the way around my design. I have checked it, it's straight, everything looks good. Now we just need to finish off the back. So what I'm going to do on the back is use my double-sided tape again, just like we did on the other design. I'm going to just tear off some pieces here. That's a little too long. Put it down. Still too long. Put it down right there. Peel off the adhesive part and put our fabric down. A nice way to hold the fabric in place. You don't have to use regular tape. The Scor-Tape is fabulous. I love that it's double-sided so that you can work with it easily. If you can get the edges off. Come on. There we go. So pinning wasn't too bad, right? It was an easy way to get your, be able to adjust as you go. I think it's a nice way to finish off your design. I think it's actually, sometimes it's easier than just doing the first method. It just depends on the design. If it's Aida cloth, sometimes it's easier to do than something that linen or an even weave that's a looser weave that pulls a little bit more. Aida, you can see those lines and the squares a little bit better, so that's easier to frame. Neither one is too difficult though. Okay, that's in place. Now for our corners, again, we're just going to fold these down. They don't need to be pretty, they just need to be out of the way. We're going to tack them down with Scor-Tape. And then I'm going to show you how we finish off the back side. Now, if you decide to put glass in your design, there's absolutely nothing different to do here. You just put the glass in first. Only thing you have to keep in mind, that glass takes up more space. So you have to make sure that you can fit your foam core board in. You might want to change it to a PresOn board, which is not as thick. Same thing with matte. If you put a matte board in there too, you're going to have the same issue. Okay, so that's all done. We're going to put it in the frame. Fits in nice and is pretty. Now what I'm going to do to finish off the back is I'm going to put a piece of this craft paper on. And this is you can buy these in big rolls for like $3 or $4. They're postal craft paper. It comes on a roll. It's going to last you forever. What I like to do is write the name of the design on it and the date that I stitched it. I don't know. You don't have to do that. I kind of like to have that on there. And then I'm going to use the double-sided tape to attach it on here. Now you can absolutely use glue. You can use whatever works for you. Since I have this double-sided tape here, I'm going to use this because I like trying to peel off the backing. There we go. Make sure that's centered. it also comes off easily if you want to change it out at any point. Want to put it in a different frame. I don't know. Whatever you might want to do. Good way to finish off your design though. And this tape holds in place really well. There's no need to glue the center of the design, as long as you get the edges down. I cut it as straight as I could. It's a little crooked, but it is the back side of the design, but it's going to bother me, so I'm going to trim this just a little bit. Make it a little straighter. Yeah, a little bit better. So if you have any questions about framing, feel free to let me know in the comments section below. I am by no means an expert framer. This is just what I have found works for me. I like to be able to finish my cross stitch myself and get it done when I'm framing. I don't always frame my pieces, but when I do frame, this is what I do. I also like to finish them as pillows or flat folds or any variety of different ways, but it's nice to have pictures too. What I've been doing lately is doing seasonal pictures, and I'll just have like a little display of different seasonal designs. There we go. Back all nice and pretty. Front all nice and pretty. I like it a lot. So what do you think? Are you going to try framing? It's really not hard at all. It's quick, easy, inexpensive, and nice to be able to say you did it all by yourself. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please let us know in the comment section below. Also, if you have any suggestions for future videos, I'd love to hear from you. While you're down there, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you again soon.